So, Mr. Christopher Kettle, which is not me, but it's my person, the legal fiction, which is represented by the birth certificate, received a summons to appear before the magistrates. This was, of course, an invite to their place of business to discuss the punishment. As it was a commercial court, I chose not to contract with the court by refusing to stand. I wanted to warn others that these people will try anything to get you to contract with them. Before I went into the courtroom, the usher tried to get me to contract by first asking if I agreed that I am liable, and of course I responded no. He then asked if I wished to agree a repayment plan. It was sad to see that everyone else that was waiting for their council tax hearing accepted the repayment plan, accepted the contract. Before I went in outside the court, and loud enough for all to hear, I shouted, "May I enter this vessel with all my natural God-given inalienable rights intact?" I say vessel because it's law of the sea. The usher said he was unable to comment or answer that. I asked him to find someone who could understand what I was saying, to which he refused. I then said, "With all due respect, do you have the authority to take away my rights?" And the usher muttered no. I then said that I would therefore come forward on the understanding that I do so with all my natural God-given inalienable rights intact. We immediately proceeded to move to the back of the court, where we sat down. The magistrates invited me to go and sit in front of the court in the dock, to which I replied, "I am quite comfortable here at the back and I am able to hear you well." The magistrate had a blank look on his face. "You could say that you are not a boat and you do not wish to dock. It's important you do not stand in the dock because you are accepting that you are in maritime jurisdiction." He asked all to stand, which of course no one did. I then said, "I accept and acknowledge your oath of office and I'm holding you to that office, for now we have a binding contract. You could place them on their oath by saying, 'Under God, so help me God,' that was your oath." These corrupt magistrates refused to acknowledge their oath, which is dishonouring the Queen and her oath to uphold the law of the land. It also proves that they have no authority because they work for a private company. The magistrate asked if I were Christopher Kettle, to which I replied no. However, I am the authorised representative for the legal fiction whom you seek, known as Mr. Christopher Kettle. He continued to refer to me as Mr. I responded to this in two ways. The first was, "Are you addressing me, sir?" And the other was, "You are dishonouring me in calling me that. Please call me Chris like my mother did." He then tried to confirm where I live, to which I responded, "I live wherever my feet touch the ground," which got a round of laughter. As it is our court and we are the masters, I tried to always ask them a question. I asked if they had a claim against me, to which one magistrate replied yes. So I asked if it is a criminal claim or a civil claim, to which he responded civil. I then said, "Please may I see the contract that I've allegedly breached, as I am unaware of being in dishonour." To which the answer was along the lines of no. If he were to say it were a criminal claim, I would need to be aware of an injured party. I would always try to say, "I rescind all implied consent to your private arbitration court," and cite the Misrepresentation Act of 1967. For the simple reason that they cannot act as a magistrate and a claimant at the same time, because there's a conflict of interest and bias going on there. I actually found out that someone else was summoned to appear in the same courtroom at the same time for council tax. Proof that they just want you in and out quick to maximise profit. About 2 weeks later, I received a liability order notice with no date, signature or stamp. Completely fraudulent. They also asked me to return a legal enforcement questionnaire and tried to impose a fine of £500 for not returning it. I completely ignored it. The council, court and bailiffs are unable to enforce anything now because the court order was not signed. Maybe the magistrate did not want to put his name on the document. 3 months have gone by now. I've not paid and I've not heard anything. What we must remember is that when you get a summons, they are not actually inviting you. It's the legal fiction, stroke birth certificate, stroke piece of paper, which is deaf and dumb, which they seem to forget. Bournemouth Borough Council's revenue and collection is dealt with by a private French company, and there is no lawfully enforceable contract between me, Chris Kettle, and the council. There are no injured parties, so there is no case under common law. Now I wanted to talk a little bit about the police and where they fit into all of this. We really do need them on our side and need them to understand this information. They need to realise what side they are on. The people's or their criminal bosses. They need to stop enforcing crimes that shouldn't exist and return to being peace officers, to serve and protect us like we pay them to do. Anyway, here are some important phrases to remember and to quote to policemen or women when you come into contact with them. Unfortunately, we are entering a police state, and interactions with the police will increase further. The police are private businesses wishing to simply make as much money as they can from fines, etc. They do not work for us anymore, but for corporations that have shareholders. So ask them, under what authority and under what law are you acting? Because they are acting, they're wearing costumes. They need to be able to quote relevant law. They shouldn't make it up as they go along, like many of them do. Remind them that failure to differentiate between a statute and a law is gross negligence, equivalent to the common law offence of fraud. Ask them, am I obliged to answer your questions? If they ask, what's your name? Ask if you are obliged to answer. I've even responded, no, what isn't my name? If arrested, always make it clear that you are protesting peacefully. They should read you your rights and then ask you if you understand. And you should say, I do not stand under that statement, nor do I stand under any statement. Remember, police do not necessarily know about common law because they have not been trained to know, but they should be. It's time to break free from the years of domination, everyone. Humanity needs to be able to evolve. I would like to show you a quick video that I made in order just to clear out my baggage, just to clear the person. Everyone moans about their job, the government, tax, etc., but then no one does anything about it. Personally, I've had enough of the rat race and no longer want to be a part of this society and watch people around me suffer. I don't agree with what our government are doing, so won't comply with their requests. I don't want anything to do with them. They're evil and I don't want that in my life. Now is the time to stand our ground, because it will be harder to do as time goes on. Thank you for listening. I'll be happy to answer some questions.